Memorial Health System says that flu, COVID, and respiratory illness are on the rise, and they want to make sure you are staying safe by taking precautions. According to Senior Director of Outpatient Services at Memorial Health System, Danny Moore, Memorial Health System advises you to use healthy habits like hand washing, blowing your nose into a tissue, and staying home if you feel sick. Moore says if you are having minor symptoms of fever or congestion, he recommends to seek your primary physician or visiting their Physicians Care Express locations in Belpre or Marietta. Moore said if symptoms are more serious, it's recommended you seek emergency care.
Yeah, if you're seeing more difficult symptoms such as difficulty breathing, not being able to catch your breath, fever over 102, at that point in time, that's when I would look at seeking care in an emergency department, or again, calling that 24-hour nurse call line so that they can triage you and let you know which level of care to seek.
The number for the 24-hour nurse call line is 844-474-6522 if there are any questions on where to go if you are experiencing symptoms. That number is at the bottom of your screen.